welcome to the Clashing of Steel. And today I actually find an ideal situation where Hasdrubal's fast charges or fast cooldowns for the charges can actually be used to harass in an incredible way. So to say, ideal situation where I can use the surprise and the charge effect nearly at the same time and just keep moving and harassing opponents. So first things first, I know that there are horsemen there. No other unit is that fast, so I'm being rather careful and I'm going very carefully. Actually I do mess up, but I realize what they're planning. As it can be seen here, I kinda messed up for myself by taking a look from a wrong perspective. But then again, my infantry is so close behind and they use their charge. So I'm just going in there, I'm forcing them to fight me, and they soon really won't want to fight me. Even though they are spreading the units so that they could surround me better, it is not good for them because the pikemen will have their fun. Actually, the pikemen weren't that smart because they could have actually forced them out even without the pikes. The elephants and everything was coming. This first engagement actually was not a loss because I'm facing Vercingetorix, and Vercingetorix is so deadly in a steady fight. Maybe not in a steady fight, but at first 10-20 seconds of the fight when the Defiance is active. So the second big problem is I was stacking my units and I didn't think about it. I did manage to pull one unit out and use the other one to charge because Hasdrubal has a charge that gives you extra impact, and tier 7 Barbarian Cavalry isn't reliant on impact like tier 6 is. I can easily use my special charge, Flying Columns, as an advantage against them, which I did. So I still lost quite a lot of troops, but compared to what I did to these barbarians, it was not comparable. Actually I thought he might even overwhelm me because my Hasdrubal's cavalry does not have that many upgrades. It has only 2 or 3. And if I should be facing an opponent with a lot more, those small upgrades actually matter a lot. So this was my lucky first engagement. The only reason I had the advantage was because opponents weren't charge impact based cavalry. They were more based upon fighting and still disrupting, but not as heavily as the tier 6 barbarian cavalry was. And now, since we have pushed the opponents out of our tower, we have great vision and I can actually use my units as disruptors. Why this is a great place is simple. I can use the bushes, they cannot see me. And the watchtower gives me vision even if my units are not near the edges of the bushes. So I'm still being very careful. But I was actually hoping for the pikemen to cover off this area. I wasn't planning to use my units as disruptors, but this is a great place. I can use them right now, I can charge in, do some devastation and pull back out. Sadly, charging from the side isn't as extreme as charging from the rear, so as I disrupt him, I cannot exactly weaken him massively. I can toy with him, I can mess with him, I can charge again, I can just mess with them in general. Best thing I can do in this position is just disrupt. My focus isn't even to damage him, it's just to disrupt him, just to be an annoyance. If I can just annoy opponents enough to force them to focus on different fronts, or more precisely this player to focus on different units, he might lose focus at one point and I might actually have a chance against him. So here my focus was just to disrupt the shield screen, so that the javelins could harass them. I am still going to use my unit to slow them a bit, to interrupt their advance, and I'm going to send my remnants in from the rear in hopes of disrupting them even a bit more. I'm willing to sacrifice that unit, but the big problem is that one of them is still going after javelins. Javelins are an invaluable tool, and I'm gonna have to delay these infantry units as much as I can. I have taken massive damage and I have, pushed out the reasonable disruption and maybe even some damage, but the most of it is to the javelins, because if I can disrupt opponents enough, javelins can weaken them to a ridiculous point. Personally, Hasdrubal and the Quarters Cavalry can be used even in some steady fights, but my focus is mostly just to disrupt with him. I'm probably not as strong as most other players, and even I got a bit surprised when these swordsmen came after me here. Wow, I also kinda mixed up my units and a lot of them died because of it. Personally, I prefer to use Hasdrubal's abilities as buffing friendlies and debuffing opponents. But in this match, my task happened to be Disruption. It's actually also been a while since I played Carter's Cavalry. They are interesting. I really miss the Numidian throw, which you have on TF5 and 8 and so. And I could have used that to disrupt even more of my opponents, perhaps doing even massive damage with it. So the match is over, and let's head over to the scoreboard. Well, I actually earned a decent or average score, so to say. I wasn't very useful, I was mostly disrupting and being an annoyance. The opposing Vercingetorix's unit didn't turn that much as well. I managed to kill his horseman at the beginning pretty much, and also nearly ran into his charge. I also had a Caesar unit with javelins, at least one javelin, with in the vicinity of the watchtower. He helped me harass the opposing Carthage infantry or Carthage swordsmen that will blade with Hannibal. That Hannibal and his swordsmen earned more score than I did. They probably managed to spot or discover some of our units. Sadly, the pikemen went to capture the opposing base. I probably should have been there. I might have made a difference in the beginning where we nearly captured it. But sadly, I was just focusing on those infantry because going usually with in narrow entry places, especially behind my own infantry or pikemen or whatever units, that isn't a good option for the cavalry. I kinda wish that the match would have lasted a bit longer. We nearly captured the opposing base as well. Really sad about that, but at least I managed to be a disrupting annoyance for my opponent. So this was pretty much it. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.